My man here, goddamn, this man here.
People would be like, what is this? What is happening?
He made the beat right here, like right here.
What up, bro?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
My name is Ari. I go by Ari at Home. We're at my crib in New York City.
You looking good, feeling good?
I am an improv musician. I make music outside in the street with strangers.
Are you pulling up? You want to grab this?
We're here setting up. We're about to go outside and see who we find and see who we can jam with. Well, this is a little messy back here, so usually it's cleaner. These are all like USB modems that all have like a SIM card in them and a SIM plan. The more components that are involved, because they're separate, the more technical difficulties and like issues you can have. Through time, I've just been trying to like simplify more and more. That's been the goal. When you start messing around with the genre, you can't really like make it your own. And so like then the more experience I get with genres a little more outside of my comfort zone, the more I like figure out how can I like make this where people are like, yes, that is a whatever Jersey club like beat, but it's like I still feel like I can put some of me in it as well. And then I'm just adding little notes, but that are like in different parts in the chord progression, so that like it'll spruce it up, it'll make it like you'll have these different little textures to listen for. I took piano lessons when I was like a little kid. My dad is an orchestral conductor. There was a lot of music in the house. Me and my two siblings, we all had to play piano and then an additional instrument. So I played piano and bass. I started trying to make beats when I was in middle school when I was about 11 in GarageBand on the family iMac. So I used to just kind of hammer away making beats. I was listening to a lot of old school hip hop. It wasn't until I was in high school, there was this Icelandic band, Sigur Rós. I don't know if you guys know them. Kendrick had sampled them in some like early song. The way that they like worked with these unique sounds and manipulated sounds was like so eye-opening for me. I hadn't like listened to production that was creative in that way before. So I sort of credit them with a lot of just like the things that I'm interested in, like having little weird sounds here and there to like just make a track more interesting or like bring people in. And maybe I'll put some of my own little sounds in here too. This kind of sampler is kind of more in like the Sigur Rós realm. And so then the real thing that is going to exemplify it is going to be, you're going to then hit an 808 on the same pattern as the kick. There's also like the gunshot. Oh, I like that. You're always just looking for like a different starting point. I don't always start with the drums. I don't always start with the bass. I don't always start with the chords. And then anytime someone else can give me any type of input, if it's like the vibe they want, the style, that's also helpful for like making sure that we're starting from a unique point from like the previous beat.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's take it slow.
I moved away from home when I was 16, which was very detrimental to my production because I used to like sit in our computer room in this comfy desktop chair. I would make all my beats in there, and then when I went away to school, I was like I had a little laptop, which was a lot harder to use my production tools on. Like I don't even think I had a keyboard for a little bit. I was just like typing them in the piano roll, and I was running like FL Studio for PC, but on my Mac, and it was all very like confusing and difficult. And that's actually part of like where my like name comes from, because I was like, damn, like all the beats kind of sound better when I'm at home.
Hey guys, shall we?
One of the first things I did in wanting to take it a little more seriously is I thought like I want to start playing live and like see what that's like. Initially, like I was on YouTube for a few weeks, then I streamed to like this Facebook meme page every Friday. I got some of my footing there, and then I was streaming on Reddit. And that's when I first moved to New York City, and the next day was my first official regular Reddit stream. So that was where I first started like to get supporters that were like my fans and wanted to see what I was up to and what I was doing. I started using that to bring them to Twitch.
You know what's going down.
Because the community is so mobilized, I was able to make a living through that community for like a few years. But I noticed it was kind of starting to dry up. I think IRL live streaming is now a very popular form of streaming. A lot of people do it. They just like get a phone and go outside. And I just remember being like really intrigued by the idea of IRL in that, unlike a stream where I'm in my house for 8 hours, you don't know what's gonna happen and it makes it exciting. You don't know what 5 minutes later is gonna be, what an hour is gonna be later. And that's what started my journey to trying to bring all of the gear outside. I just needed a light keyboard. Like I had this idea of like a tray in front of me. I would have my launch control, my looper, and a keyboard. And I remember I tried to put like the keyboard that I was using on the time at the tray, and it was like 6 pounds. I was like, wow, this is really unfortunate because this is super heavy and hard to use. When we get out, I just like put it on, and then anything that I can't like do while wearing it, he does. I have basically one member on my team who is my cameraman, Dillz. I met Dylan like 2 years ago, last year, middle of last year. That's crazy. It's been 1 year. It's been a year. Having a real camera person on the streams totally changed like what we did. He's a very skilled cameraman, a very skilled person at walking backwards. He is like what brings the stream to life. When people are watching, they're watching it through him.
My background is actually like strictly doing stuff with streamers. So I don't really have like a film background. I do have like a content background. Streaming content is like very different, where it really is just about capturing like what's going on rather than what your shot is looking like, how it's exposed. A lot of my job is actually seeing like who looks interested, paying attention to what's going on outside, and kind of like engaging with people too, which has made a difference for sure.
These are the ROLIs, the Piano M's, which I will turn on. So that's just like the controller, but I also can use it for like drum sounds. This is the looper, so I basically record put patterns into here. These are just controls that are just mapped to different parameters that I need. The number pad, this is usually what people find the most interesting. I use this thing in Ableton called CliffX, which are MIDI remote scripts, which basically send MIDI signals really easily between applications and have hardware like communicate to software. All of my sounds are numbers. So if I type in 15, what I was saying, that cues up this drum rack. In Contact, for instance, there's like quick load. And so like usually you would have to go in one of these and then drag this in to change. And it's a lot of clicking around. It's hard to do if you're outside, like in the sun, people are talking to you. So like instead, I can just type in a number and it will like take care of that for me. These are the different speakers we have. We just added like 2 in the front, but then we have 4 of the mid-range in the back and then 2 subs that you'll hear.
What kind of music vibe are you feeling?
Fun, funky, fresh.
I like that.
I definitely think like the look of them has become very like synonymous with just my whole setup.
Falling, so you know.
When we were starting, we used to always be out at night. And so getting to be outside at night with these like glowing keyboards was like always very badass. And now actually a lot more people know about them. I've seen so many more posts on like social media with people using them. But when I started 2 years ago, and no one knew what they were, I remember people would be like, what is this? What is happening?
Your secrets are safe for me.
I have so much to learn from the people that I meet outside. So many styles, cadences, and people ask me to make stuff that I don't even really know how to make, but I'm always trying to like learn and figure out like what's going on.
Okay, I got you.
You get so much amazing freestyling and hip hop. I mean, it's not the only thing I post. I'm always interested to find instrumentalists or singers or people that bring other genres.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That was DIY.
Now, the streams are so different because so many people outside recognize me from the clips. And so like if you're a musician and you're walking by, instead of being like, what the hell is this? Is this a music video? Like, I'm not gonna interrupt. I think a lot of people now, they see us and like, they already know what it is we're doing. And so like, they feel a lot more comfortable approaching me, being like, yo, like, could you make me a beat? Could I get on the mic?
What up, bro? I like that little entrance, that was pretty cool.
Here we go, bro. You already know how it go.
I would like to do a version of this in other cities, in other countries, in other like towns. I know that there are a lot of localized genres that are not just like you go to this country and it's this style. It's like you go to this town and they have this and this town has this. To me, that's like the natural progression of what I'm doing right now. Sometimes I'll be making a beat and there'll be 2 or 3 people singing, rapping over the instrumental, but they're not friends. Like they didn't know each other. And sometimes I don't even know this is going on. So like someone will come up to me and they'll ask me to make something, and so we're jamming, and then they hand the mic to like their friend who then is like filling in. And then at the end, I'll be like, oh, so are you guys a group? And they'll say, we don't know each other. They just met on the beat that I was making. They both were interested, they both heard the music, wanted to come over, wanted to participate. And not just that they like gelled as music collaborators, but a lot of times like they'll do something together and then they'll like dap each other up, they'll like exchange Instagrams and be like, oh, we gotta like do something. I always get such a kick out of that. Like even the thought that I might be able to have just like a semblance of impact on like other musicians collaborating or meeting each other through me.
Hey, yo, listen. Shout out to Ari once again.
Whoa.
Yo, you killed that though, bro.